The lonely CEO sat alone at the cafe until a little girl walked up and said, "Are you okay, sir?" The rain fell gently against the cafe window, tracing soft trails down the glass. Inside, the aroma of freshly brewed coffee filled the air, mingling with quiet chatter and the hum of soft jazz. At the corner table, away from everyone else, sat a man in a crisp but slightly rumpled suit. His name was Ethan Cole, a name that once filled business magazines and headlines. A man everyone admired, envied, or feared. But tonight, none of that mattered. That he sat there alone, staring into a cup of coffee gone cold, his tie loosened, his eyes heavy with the kind of emptiness success could never fill. The once unstoppable CEO had lost something far more important than money or power. His wife, Lena, had passed away in a car accident 6 months earlier. Since then, Ethan's world had crumbled quietly, piece by piece. The empire he built still stood strong, but his will to live within it was fading. Every morning he wore the same mask, the powerful, confident man in control, only to end his days here, alone in this cafe, drowning in silence. Tonight was no different. The rain outside matched the storm within him. He sat motionless, lost in memories, until a soft voice interrupted the fog of his thoughts. "Are you okay, sir?" Ethan blinked and looked up. Standing before him was a little girl, no older than 7, holding a small cup of hot chocolate with both hands. She had bright eyes that shimmered with innocence and a pink ribbon in her hair. For a moment, Ethan didn't know what to say. He was used to boardrooms and formal greetings, not unexpected kindness from strangers. I'm fine," he managed, forcing a faint smile. "Why do you ask?" The little girl tilted her head. "Because you look sad. My mommy says when people look sad, they need someone to talk to." Ethan's throat tightened. He wanted to say something, anything, but words refused to come. He hadn't truly spoken from the heart since the day Lena died. The girl's gaze didn't waver. She simply stood there, waiting, her hot chocolate steaming between her small hands. Finally, Ethan sighed. "You're very kind, little one. What's your name?" "Mia," she said proudly. "And you?" "Ethan." "Hi, Mr. Ethan." She smiled, setting her drink down beside his. "My mommy's working over there," she added, pointing toward the counter where a woman in an apron was serving coffee to customers. "I sit here when she's busy." Ethan nodded slowly. So she was the barista's daughter. That explained her comfort in the cafe. But still, he couldn't understand why she had chosen him. Out of everyone here, why approach the sad man in the corner? Mia leaned closer. "You know what my mommy says? She says people forget to smile when they lose something special. But when you smile again, it means your heart is healing." Her words hit him like a whisper from the past. Lena used to say the same thing. "Smile for the world, Ethan. Even when it hurts, because someone might need to see it." For the first time in months, Ethan chuckled softly. "Your mom sounds very wise." "She is. She says smiling makes you strong." Mia grinned wide. "Wanna try?" Ethan tried. A faint, awkward curve of his lips, but it was enough to make Mia clap her hands. "See, you did it." Over the next few evenings, Ethan found himself returning to the cafe again and again. And every time Mia was there, she'd run up to his table, chatter about her day, draw little doodles on napkins, and sometimes tell the silliest jokes just to make him laugh. Slowly, without realizing it, Ethan began to look forward to those moments. The lightness, the innocence, the reminder that there was still warmth in the world. Then one evening, Mia wasn't there. Ethan sat waiting longer than usual, his heart unexpectedly heavy. When he asked the barista about her, the woman sighed. "I'm so sorry, sir. She's at the hospital. She has a heart condition we've been treating for a while. It got worse this week." The words froze him. A child like that, so full of life and kindness, fighting such a battle? Ethan felt his chest ache in a way it hadn't since losing Lena. Without hesitation, he asked which hospital she was in and went there that very night. When he walked into the children's ward, Mia's eyes lit up. "Mr. Ethan, you came," she said weakly, her small hand gripping his. The beeping machines and pale walls couldn't hide her joy. "I told Mommy you'd come." Ethan sat beside her, overwhelmed by the fragility of it all. He stayed there for hours, reading her stories, talking about silly things, and holding her hand as she drifted to sleep. Before he left, he whispered, "You're the bravest person I've ever met." The next few weeks changed everything. Ethan quietly paid for Mia's treatment, ensuring her mother wouldn't lose sleep over bills again. He visited often, bringing small gifts, drawing smiles from Mia even on her worst days. Her laughter began to heal something inside him that money never could. Months later, when Mia was finally well enough to leave the hospital, she ran up to him at the cafe, wrapping her arms around his waist. "You helped me get better," she said with tears of joy. "Now you have to promise to stay happy too." Ethan knelt down, smiling through his own tears. "I promise, Mia." From that day on, the lonely CEO was no longer lonely. He had found family where he least expected it, in a little girl who taught him to smile again. Ethan began funding a program to help children with heart conditions, naming it Project Mia. And every time he walked into that cafe, he still sat at the same corner table, but now with company, laughter, and warmth. Sparkle's inspiring message. Kindness doesn't always come from grand gestures. Sometimes, it comes from a small voice asking, "Are you okay?" In a world where many are hurting quietly, one moment of compassion can bring light back into someone's darkest days.